Let's take a few minutes to look at your Zoom account settings. Getting your account set up before your very first session is important so that you don't have any surprises during your meetings and you have the full functionality you need to hold your meeting or run your class. First thing I'm going to do is go log into my account at zoom.us. The sign in is up here in the upper right hand corner. My information saved. I am logging in with my CSU Pueblo account. Okay, this is my meeting dashboard. Yours looks exactly like this, although you may have some different settings based on the type of account you have. If you have a premium account, your settings will look just like mine. Your options will. If you have a basic account that only allows 40-minute calls, you may not have all of these settings. Just pay attention to the ones that are important to you. First thing to notice is that along the left side, there are menu links. Depending on which menu link you select, you may see further options across the top here. So for meetings, we get some extra meeting settings up here, some different links. And on the settings, I have different setting areas as well. We're just going to focus on meeting settings. There are a ton of meeting settings on this page. The help doc calls out the ones that, in my experience, have been the most useful in running my meetings. Definitely experiment with them. Try the ones that you like, see how they work, and just know that this is a process. It takes a few meetings to really get your groove on with them and feel like you're running them smoothly. Okay, so there are gray headers along the top. So the first section is schedule a meeting. I start with the host video off and participant video off. How do I know these are off? Because they're grayed out. When they're turned on, they are blue, and I get a little confirmation every time I adjust a setting. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that back off. So I do not start any meetings with my video or my participants' videos automatically turned on. I allow telephone and audio and computer audio settings, so that means that anyone who wants to join can join by phone or by computer. Right now, the basic account will not allow telephone attendance only. I do not allow them to join before the host. But I do use my personal meeting room when I start an instant meeting. There's a help doc for your personal meeting room and your regularly scheduled meeting rooms if you want to learn more about that. Scrolling on down, we'll just focus on the ones I have turned on to save some time. I do mute everyone upon entry, and I ask for a desktop notification to give me a reminder. I turn on the chat, and I allow private chat as well. That means students can chat each other, but I don't see what they're saying to each other. That's totally fine with me. It keeps them in my Zoom. They may be, texting if they want to chat with someone privately or in a different chat client. So this at least keeps them in my meeting and they can talk one-to-one about things that are going on. And I don't click this so that they can save the chat if they would like as well. I have a doorbell ring when someone joins the meeting or leaves the meeting. This one is pretty cool, file transfer. This allows file transfers between myself and all my participants or participant to participant just by opening the chat box. We don't have to go out to a share screen, and so it saves us a couple steps by enabling this feature. I have feedback to Zoom turned on so that students can say, the meeting didn't go well, or yes, it did go well. I do allow a co-host. Having this turned on means that when someone joins the meeting, I can click a setting next to their name in the participant window and allow them to help me host the meeting. Polling is a cool feature. It's kind of like the clickers that are used in class. You can ask multiple choice questions on the fly, or you can set those up ahead of time. This one is super important. Always show the meeting control bar. When you first start running your meetings, it can be a little bit disorienting because sharing the screen can take over your whole screen if you've got it in full view and you're not sure where you are, and then you can't find your meeting controls because the toolbar has detached and moved away. So having your toolbar always appear helps you reorient yourself back to the settings that you need for the session. So definitely turn that on. Screen sharing, I do allow screen sharing. I'm sharing a screen right now with you. Everyone can share. Sometimes I might want students to share, but I'm the only person who can cut someone off a share and jump in and start sharing my own. Participants can't walk all over each other's shares. A cool feature of sharing is annotation. You can use text and drawings and stamps and check marks and arrows to call out things on web pages or PowerPoints or even the virtual whiteboard that you have enabled. So annotation is a great tool to turn on. Remote control allows the person who's sharing to ask, hey, can I hold your mouse? And you can actually move around the person who's sharing their screen, you can move around their page. So this is especially helpful, like if a student had an issue finding something on a Blackboard course, or you're teaching some kind of technical class where you're trying to troubleshoot some lines of code or something like that. You can get in there and really point out or demonstrate for someone on their machine, on their actual machine, what needs to be done. Nonverbal feedback gives some icons in the participant window, speed up, slow down. So this helps me know if I'm going too fast or too slow during my classes. And then there's like a check mark and an X. So I could ask a lot of yes, no questions just to try to keep everyone engaged as we're moving along. And they can respond with nonverbal feedback. The breakout rooms are really awesome. You can schedule these ahead of time and assign your groups, but I don't usually do that because I never know how many people are actually going to show up to my Zoom. Things happen and everyone's planning to come, but then, you know, a third of the people can't make it. So once everyone gets in my session, I use this feature to send students out to different breakout rooms. They can discuss, collaborate, share, have a whiteboard, annotate on it, save their annotations. They can message me if they need help, and I can pop in between the different rooms to see what's going on, check in with folks, that kind of thing. So breakout rooms are a really great way to have your students doing group work virtually. Virtual background, that's what you see behind me here. I don't have a green screen, so you'll notice it when I move fast, it kind of looks a little funky, but it picks up all right. You can get a green screen on like a frame that you can hang it on Amazon for like $25. And you do need to have a newer machine to make it work. But the virtual backgrounds are cool because you can load up any image and then it puts you in front of that for teaching. So if you're like me and you have an office that is packed with books and stuff on shelves and it's not exactly camera ready every day, now I've got a nice background to share with my attendees. And I've got HTML turned on for my invitations. That just means that when I use the Outlook plugin, my invitations are a link that someone can click. Waiting room was hugely important to me. I don't want anyone just to pop in my open meeting before I'm ready. So this ensures that I'm ready to start class, that class starts when I'm ready to start class and people just don't trickle in. So all participants, no matter if they're a guest or you know, signed in on an invitation that I've sent out, they all go to a waiting room first. I customized my logo. I put up a little picture and a message that says, hey, you're in Denise's meeting room. The meeting will be in shortly. join from your browser. This is important for students. Sometimes they can't download the applet that they need to on their first use to get Zoom working on their device. So this just gives them another quick way to get in, reduces frustration. So this will give them a link that they can click, and then it just opens the session in their browser. And then I've got some email notifications set up down here, and you can definitely set those the way you like them. One thing that I would like to point out that's very important is that these settings are overridden by the individual meeting settings. So whatever settings you have in your scheduled meetings or your personal meeting room meetings, they will be overridden. These will override the global settings over here. I found this out because I had waiting room turned on here in my global settings, but I did not have it turned on in my scheduled meetings, and people were just popping in my room, and I couldn't figure out why they were just getting in when I had the meeting waiting room enabled. So it took a little bit of poking around, and I figured out that my settings have to match so that I don't have any surprises in my meetings. So when you schedule a meeting, you will have more settings. On that page, you have a very short list of settings down here. Just make sure that they match the way you want them to. So like video automatically on or off. If I turn it on here and I have it off in my global settings, these are the settings that are going to stick with the meeting, and people will just pop in with their cameras turned on. Meeting options, this mute entrance participants upon entry is a good one to turn on in the personal meetings that you set up. And then again, if you want a waiting room, make sure you have it on here and back in the global settings. And that should give you a good start on setting up your meeting settings to work for you. One of the best helps for me when I was learning how to use Zoom was to schedule a meeting, send that URL to myself in an email, and then I joined the meeting as a participant to practice and see how these different tools worked. I had enabled all these features. Now I wanted to see how they worked live. So that's definitely something that you can do. And I'm always happy to practice with you as well. Just send a message to us at helpdesk@csupueblo.edu, and we'll get that scheduled for you. Thanks so much, and good luck.